Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, excellencies, and distinguished delegates. It gives me a great pleasure to extend you all a very warm welcome on behalf of Federation of World Academics to say how grateful we are to have all of you here and accept the invitation to convene this seminar, Higher Education Summit 2018. Federation of World Academics is a unique concept to bring all academicians world over to share their knowledge, experiences for their personal excellence and also to contribute benefits to humanity at large. The Federation provides platform at regular intervals for members to meet and deliberate upon their experiences and ideas. Time to come, such platforms will be provided at different parts of the world through the invitative of local chapters. The education system world over can adopt methods of proven practices infused with new ideas to make the system more dynamic and befitting to impart knowledge embedded with values. The Federation thus will spread a sense of togetherness for knowledge sharing amongst world academicians which has not been realized so far. It is gratifying to note that the agenda of the seminar is teaching learning content and process in higher education. This is an attempt by an academic body of the professionals for premier institutions in higher education of Asia Pacific to organize the summit where more than 50 higher education professionals are invited to share their knowledge, experiences, and the future challenges in education technology. There are participants from government, research consulting agencies, bureaucrats, all are invited as panelists to throw some light on Education and Technology 2020. With this remark, I would like to call upon stage Dr. Sandhya Chintala, who is the Vice President NASSCOM, to share her views about the theme today.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thought leaders of the Federation for World Academics. It's amazing to know that there is a forum like this, and I'm so grateful for your attention. Sir, don't have to be bothered about the numbers. It's the attention of a few leaders like yourself who can make a difference the world over. What I will do today is share with you the way we are trying to reinvent the learning ecosystem. You might say, what makes you think that you are capable of reinventing the learning ecosystem? NASSCOM, the National Association of Software and Service Companies, is the harbinger and the Chamber of Commerce for 92% of the industry for IT/ITS in the country. They basically also are enabling almost 95% of the human resource, which comes from 16,000 companies in the country with the large multinationals as well as the small and medium companies who are basically in the domestic market. So from that point of view, NASSCOM has also taken on an additional hat, and that is it has become the Sector Skill Council for IT/ITS, that is for creating the educational ecosystem to respond to the new age disruptions and the requirements of technology for today and tomorrow. So we are under the Ministry of Skills and Entrepreneurship, the authorized body to set standards for job roles present and future, and also be the formal assessing body to certify individuals competent for that particular job role, so that this competency works as a currency for global mobility. So having said that and given you that introduction, let me move and give you a glimpse today of what the digital disruption is, and responding to the digital disruption, what is it that we can do together to actually reinvent the learning ecosystem. It worked well, beautifully for the last 65 years in India, but something has changed, and these are the various factors that are actually creating a change at an unprecedented pace and scale. Rise of emerging markets, the aging global population, integrating world, return of geopolitics, but last but not the least, the center point is the power of disruptive technologies. Here I would like to say, what is this causing This industry body was the largest hirer and continues to be the single most hirer of direct employees. About 4 million people are directly employed by us. But in response to the digital disruption, we have said almost a third of them now have to be reskilled and upskilled and retrained. And the rest of the ecosystem, which is all about the 770 universities, the 85,000 colleges, the question comes in students' mind is, what are we supposed to do with our lives and our education? It does not seem to match the requirements of a pole post that is constantly changing. So obviously, the way we learn, the way we are going to be working, the way we live has changed, and you as individuals have created a marketplace. What I would like to say is share some thoughts for you to debate, come back, because we are implementers, we're the end users, but you, thought leaders, are the people who create the ecosystem that has to respond to a constant change. So a few factors that emerge from the earlier slide and the points that I raised is we're not looking for scale anymore. We are looking for high quality skills, and you will find that we are finding that machines are becoming more efficient than humans. So we'll find chatbots, you pick up your phone and you call, you're actually having a voice on it, but there is no human being talking to you. You will find that you're competing for your job with a machine, and therefore the machine does it fastest at a lower cost, and you are basically looking at, what am I going to do with the salary that is now there, and it does not respond to the requirements. We are polarizing workers now. Some of them are extraordinarily high paid, and the rest will be the administrative load. As management groups, you will also understand that. Is there going to be a management layer at all? Because everything will be automated. Another one is, because of the politics that's coming to be, there is going to be a shortage of talent mobility because every country is saying, me, my own. So you're going to have to look at and see what protectionism is going to cause as a problem. Another point is the way we work. We are not looking at long-term, full-time work. Many of you say 18 years, 21 years, I'm done with education now, and for the next 30 years, I will join a company and live out the fruits of my educational capability. Sorry, boss, it's not going to be there. You have to go back and learn every 6 months because these technologies are getting outdated even in a 4-year and a 3-year cycle, which means your educational degree is quite irrelevant when you're ready to join the job market. So the question is, under the IT and the Shops and Establishment Act, I'm hiring 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. So what would you do if you're 60 and you don't find that your savings actually map to your, the inflation rate? You will find that we're going to have a global economy where learning is continuous and has no age barriers. So you will find that work will be split and parceled. You will be working for a couple of hours in another country. You're working for a couple of hours in your own, and probably you'll be doing your own business for the rest of the time. But you sit here in India and do it. So there is no physical mobility, but there is a virtual requirement. And therefore, in the gig economy, how is it that one is going to have a new educational ecosystem? We have to think this through. The way we taught our students, the way we evaluated their competency is pretty irrelevant in today's date. So these are the thoughts that I would like to explore with you. So if you look at the employment, about 37% by about just 2020, there'll be about 37% new jobs, and 9% of 600 million estimated workforce in India will be looking at jobs that we haven't even looked at. If I look at the new technologies, these are a list of the few that I've given you. And the top of the lot will come up as artificial intelligence. So we've done our research as an industry, we are moving markets, and what we are saying is that these have to be integrated now into your existing programs of learning. So you might say, how are we going to do that? So before that, there is a little bit more. So we have processes like blockchain, then nanosensors, etc. So the nanosensors are small, minute chips that will basically be able to, you can put it on your clothing, it can be on the material of your walls, it can be internally on your systems. So if you have a chip and you can put the chip intravenously into your system, I can even have a pacemaker a small size of a pill sitting into your heart and working for you. If you have a problem with your liver or kidney, I don't really have to wait for somebody to die or pass out so as to get a positive response to your requirements. I can 3D print your liver just by using your stem cells. If you have a cancerous problem with you, we can actually program your cancerous T cells to talk to your cancerous cells using nanotechnology to actually make the change. These are just glimpses of what's going to be. You're not going to have cars which are going to run on petrol or diesel anymore. They will be electric with induction motors. The roads will have induction halo roads. So you're going to find, and or it might just fly off when you have a traffic jam. What you thought as hi-fi and sci-fi movies is there to be. How is our educational system going to manage that? Then you may say, oh, that's really not going to work for us in India. But I would say, how many of you are going to a market and how many of you don't buy all your things that you want from Amazon? Your utilization as the market is actually driving this requirement, right? So I'm not going to dwell more and go back to our educational system. So what we've done in the legacy, that we have said there are services and products, and then we have had business process management, IT services, engineering, and software product development. And we have had about 48 occupations and about 100-odd jobs that we have identified at entry level. But the new age technologies are creating more. All this information is available on the website, people, so I'll leave it to there. But this is an interesting slide. We did a lot of research and says, how is India going to change? Will India become the economy that is, and if it has to change, what should be the change in our educational system? So what we have found is, by 2025, we should be a $1 trillion economy. By 2035, we should have much more. But let me just give you a glimpse. So if I were to break up the job scenario, almost about 48 to 49% will still run on the old job scenarios like IT, e-commerce, telecom, manufacturing, digital payments. But about 51 to 52% will be in the new areas responding to the new technologies. This information, too, I'll leave to a deep dive as you as thought leaders. You need to understand the impact of it and move forward. What I will give you is a glimpse like this. If you look at the 8 technologies, even if I can take 3D printing, many of you understand that otherwise, even in the creation of jewelry, you look at your jewelry, India, we love our gold jewelry and the diamond markets. People are moving to 3D printing. I can 3D print your clothes, I can 3D print body parts, I can 3D print your jewelry that you have. But that sort of scenarios, which means that the lowest karigar and the individual who is an ITI or a polytechnic will be working at different job roles. If you have a drone, who repairs it? If you have a huge Boeing 747, who repairs it? It's an ITI guy. But the welding processes is precision welding. Agriculture is precision agriculture. I can actually gene splice a gene for food grains, and I can gene splice a human so as to get a person who is not going to suffer a long time disease like Alzheimer's, right? So you will find that robotic process automation, IoT, AI, all will mix together, and you will actually interact with different areas, and banking, retail, life sciences, healthcare, automotive, agriculture, and the list goes on, will be where the new jobs will come in. Technology on its own will not survive, but technology will integrate. So in your educational system, can I introduce technology in a big way? I'm just going to give you a glimpse of AI alone because it really puts forth the scenarios that we're going to talk about. A long time ago, electricity transformed everything. Likewise, AI and these new technologies will transform everything, right? So we are saying by 2030, what's going to be the global potential, and India itself will become $7.35 trillion economy by 2035, right? So if you look at AI, it's actually already there, and India is still not there. China, Southern Europe, developed Asia, all of them, 70% of the global economy will be impacted by AI, the way we live, learn, work, everything. So having said this, how do I disrupt my existing educational system? This is what I want to debate with you, so as to respond fast enough. The beauty of what happened before is for the last 3, industrial revolutions, there was 100 years for that industrial revolution to take, what I would say, to nurture, mature, and everybody to get used to it. But this disruption, which we have now at our door, is changing every 6 months. So, how I need billions of people need fast knowledge. 4 years, 3-year programs of learning, then a master's doesn't need to make sense for us anymore. Because if you are an educationist, or if you are a faculty, or if you are an organization that nurtures these educational programs, we have to think and say, what is it that your student, which is your client, wants? Does he want to actually be an innovator, an entrepreneur, or does he want to be an employee? If you are an educator, an entrepreneur, a researcher, want to patent, the old educational system is extraordinarily strong because it teaches you fundamentals. But it still ignores the skills, which is applications and utilization. So we have to actually integrate. So it makes sense. But if I were to move away from there and look at generally, all you need for your students to have is training. And the training has to be constant and continuous because the technologies requirement-based are working. So there are whole new processes. But keeping this in mind, the problem is we need to teach much more in 4 with less. There is going to be a time, and I hope all our students will love it. All I need to do is put a chip in my head, and it downloads all the information that I need. I will look at somebody, and if somebody is able to, through with my glasses or just another chip, is able to say, you speak in Malayalam, you speak in Telugu and Tamil, mentally when you are talking, it translates for me. So I don't need to learn languages. I don't need to actually go to a repository of knowledge which is available there. So what is the educational system doing? Asking you questions on what you know. I need to know how you can problem solve with what you know. So which means the learning solutions, we have to invent new ways. Because otherwise we lose this whole generation of what we have in India today. So what's the fast knowledge solution that we are looking at is going to be using AVR, virtual augmented reality. It is expensive and it is difficult to design this content, but this sort of content is available galore. So I'll give you a solution that we have looked at from NASSCOM, because NASSCOM is an industry chamber, but the economy and the rest of the people are both the supply and the market. So these two must talk together for the economy to grow. So we're looking to learn faster, remember longer, and decide better, which means your neural networks must be able to be excited. You can actually wear these gaming scenarios. Most of you are experienced and played around games. You see the videos in your cell phone, micro modules of nano bytes of information. So the long classroom of 45 minutes doesn't get the attention of anyone. So we got a lot of analytics to say, how do I keep the student engaged? How do I keep the student relevant? So we are looking at simulations. These are examples of a simulation-based maintenance factory, a game-based retail training program, a simulation-based mechanic. You have fighter pilots as well as you have pilots who are just learned on simulators. It actually gets you what you need to know using virtual reality. But a blend of this with face-to-face learning, with practicals in the labs, as well as the simulation where you learn at your own pace and time is very critical. We need to talk about design thinking, applications, services, productization, and entrepreneurship, especially those of you who are in the MBAs. I'm not looking at administrative and project management anymore. That is an inherent skill that I want in every student. But these are the latest theories and scenarios that you want. So what we have done at NASSCOM is, on the 19th with the Prime Minister, we are going to basically launch this, is have an aggregator model, a marketplace. Now you want to buy a soap, you want to buy a perfume bottle, you want to buy jewelry, you want to buy some hardware, you now have to go to different shops. What you do with the retailing, you have one large marketplace that you go and buy what you want. But at the marketplace, you might have the brand of the company that's selling the product, but I have 20 different soaps, I might have 20 different computers, mobile phones, etc. in one place. You are able to pick and choose. So what the marketplace is doing, it does not create content. It provides you a possibility to customize a requirement to your need.
So what we are looking for is, if I were to discover, this is the biggest requirement for today's young youth in the universities and colleges. Do you know that what you are and what is your innate capability before you take on a course? I desire to become an AI data scientist. The young lady here also wants to do it, but she's a Java, Spark, Fume specialist, and I don't know anything. So can the system profile me and say, hey, Sandhya, you don't know this. She knows it. So my educational program that comes up to me is about 700 hours. Hers is just 40 hours. My price point is $700,000, and hers is just $45. But you sit them in a class and treat them alike. So customization of an end requirement to the initial competency and creating customized learning paths is what we are doing and launching on the 19th. This is where you can download that in a classroom. You can also teach, but there is also an ability for the individual to respond, right? So the Coursera's, the Udacity, the Simply Learn, the lynda.com, the plural sites, we are just taking best of the world everywhere. The MITs, the Stanfords, come on board. If your university and college has a virtual program that you've done it, we'll monetize it for you. Come on board. So having got that, once you are able to learn, you have frequent evaluations so that it gives you a reward system so that you work. Many of you play these games. I've seen them in the airports and all. Why do you constantly play these video games? Because it constantly rewards you. So that's what this system does to do. If you're not getting the constant rewards, you will find that there is a disconnect. 95% of the people drop out from virtual programs. So what we're going to have is online mentors, global mentors. So we need this desperately. So you need people who are experts, who are available to all, because I'm not able to reach out to rural India. So we need the bandwidth, the connectivity, and the devices, but I need the faculty. So if you have one faculty, it's a gold mine that you make available. So having that, then we come back ultimately as a sector skill council to say, hey, we think you have a completion certificate and you are certified for the job role. Why is this needed? In the gig economy, like if I have a Trivago, you want to go and see what is the best at the cheapest price. You want the database out there. So this is how you can actually productize your requirement and put up. So I'll say, the young lady here is an AI scientist. She's working 2 hours in Vietnam, 4 hours in Korea, and the rest of the hours she's basically working in Delhi. Your price point, your 5-star rating is out there, and that's how the new educational system will respond. So having said this, look at the program. So I've given you an example of a cybersecurity. We went back to the universities. We said, it's 700 hours. So the Ministry of Skills said, okay, make it a bachelor's of vocation and integrate it over a 4-year or a 3-year program. How would you do that? So we said, okay, you have semester 6, 7, and 8, 50 hours per day. That's all you can, per semester you can give me. Fair enough. So that's 150 hours. You put another 150 hours for lab work, and then you have remaining is a collaborative online virtual where students from India, the world over, everybody meet. That is the peer learning that makes a difference. Make it usable. So every one of you, when you want to expand and explore new space in your university, it should be on the cloud. Brick and mortar is passé. So it means you can have a larger group of people. Now you say, in India, is it going to work? We have already about the largest internet users. By 2020, will be almost 75% of every Indian will be internet connected. Devices are out there, and even non-smartphones are going to be there. So can this information come to you on your mobile? Yes. So people, we need innovators and thinkers. Then people said, okay, you go to the site, you look at a technology, it drops down for you the job roles. You say, oh, I want to be a cloud specialist, but I want to be an Amazon cloud specialist. I don't want to be an IBM one. So then you choose the Amazon package, you register, you get your diagnostic, it creates a personalized learning path, then you pay your course fee, then the stack of technology certifications comes your way, then finally you get your certificate from this chamber as well as from the ministry. These are ideas. So basically what we're saying, it's quite different from a MOOC, right? But we are integrating MOOCs, traditional training programs, companies, universities, so that it can be made available to all. Now this is just IT specific, then tomorrow the retail, the manufacturing, the construction, everybody who wants to teach somebody, and this is global standards, should get on to this aggregator platform. The Ministry of IT is going to work with us, so all the NILET centers, the CDAC centers, all of this will have this in a blended form. I would love all of you to become partners, because this is a journey we have to take together, and I think it's an amazing scenario. So many universities and colleges, when I keep traveling all over and asking what you do, he says, I have got capacity, I've got space. So can you make this a center of excellence? Bring in IT, but see how it can collaborate with electronics, telecom, retail, automotive, banking sector, etc. And see how your faculty can teach a cross-pollination program. Students will be enthused. And also, this is a center for IP generation, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a long journey to go, but a fascinating one. Thank you for the opportunity.
I would like to thank Dr. Sandhya Chintala for her enlightening views. Very rightly said, technology, true, has taken a toll, but it's the time to decide that we shake hands with it and move forward with it or without it. I would like to ask Dr. Irfan Rizvi to present a vote of thanks and a citation to Dr. Sandhya Chintala.
I already said my thanks, of course, this in a short time to be able to compress such a profound message is, of course, only you could do it, Dr. Sandhya. And just as a token of, so that you remember us, do not forget it, this is a small thing we would like you to carry. Yeah. Thank you.
The reason I came is you're all renowned thought leaders. This is not a solution just for one person or one industry body. It has to be the collective wisdom of all of you. So we are looking category for new thoughts, and I hope the FWA will take a lead, and we are always there to support. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.